It was as dominant a performance as the 49ers have had all season, beating Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in nearly every facet of the game. The defense limiting Tampa Bay to just 7 total points and picking off the future Hall of Fame quarterback twice while providing plenty of support for their own quarterback, rookie Brock Purdy. The last pick in this year's draft, making his first career start, and he shined, throwing 2 touchdowns and running for another. And while he tried to downplay the fact that he was making his first start in the NFL, he admitted that right before the game kicked off, it all hit him.
Just the reps at practice and all that kind of stuff, knowing that you're the guy going into the game, that was a little different. Other than that, you know, my emotions and everything, just in my hotel room, studying last night and all that kind of stuff, it was all relatively the same. When we found out, you know, we're getting the ball to start the game out, that's when I was like, okay, like, this is getting real. Well, let's go. But, you know, it was another football game.
He reacts and runs around and makes some plays, and that's how he was in college, and that's how he's been so far in the league. And when you do that, it's how many good plays can you make without making the bad ones, and he's done that really well so far.
Incredible. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, he went out there and just absolutely played out of his mind, and so happy for him. Not surprised at all.
It's awesome to be around a guy that's, even though he's a rookie, like, the game's not too big for him. He understands, like, there's pressure, but he's just going out there and having fun. He has a great energy in the huddle. The confidence he has in himself gives us confidence in him. It gives us confidence in ourselves.
The weight isn't all on Purdy, right? You know, we let him know that he just plays his game, and we're all behind him, right? It's a team game, team sport. And that's what happens when you go out there, you play complementary football.
We just wanted to go out there and play our brand of football. We understood that we did what we needed to do. We'd give them the boost that the offense need, obviously. So we want to put the game on our shoulders. That's what we're going each week, no matter who's at quarterback. Obviously, knowing that we have him back there, we want to make the game as easy as possible for him. But, hey, he made the game easy for us on the defensive side of the ball.
Wish we could have got a shutout. That would have been even better. But huge win. You know, really proud of my teammates. We're playing lights out. Statistically, turnovers, you know, big time plays. So it's definitely not the best defense I've been a part of.
All right, we now bring in our Sean Cunningham to help break down this game. The last sound we heard was talking about the defense, but I feel like the big story in this game is just another fantastic performance from Brock Purdy. This is starting to become kind of expected and routine for him.
A rookie starting against Tom Brady and he wins. Brock Purdy's the only human being on the planet that's ever done that. And you know what? Good for him. I mean, he comes in composed and looks like a seasoned vet. You can say all you want about this defense, and we will, because this defense is the best in the league. It wasn't necessarily an outshining of Tom Brady, but Brock Purdy comes in, and you've talked about, we were talking even off air about just how composed this guy is, how he can take the moment and it not be too big. He looks like he belongs.
One of the things I like so much about him is that he was a 4-year starter at Iowa State. It's not one of the major programs, but it is a Power 5 program. He's going into places like Texas and Oklahoma, playing in the Big 12. And he's older than Trey Lance, so he should have that kind of maturity that you would expect from a veteran, but he's just got that rookie label on him, but he doesn't play like one.
No, he certainly doesn't. And anybody who thought that this kid was Mr. Irrelevant just by being picked as Mr. Irrelevant, the last player in the draft, needs to have their head examined, because he's anything but. He comes in here and looks like he belongs, and you know what? It's good through 2 games. You're kind of coasting now, 6 straight wins, and you're going to go into a pretty tough environment up in Seattle where, you know, it doesn't usually treat the Niners so well. Who cares if it does? You're going to look for a 7th straight win. You don't get that, you're still sitting in prime position. Brock Purdy, I think, is going to rely on that defense and a lot of the weapons around him. And this was a game, Chris, where a lot of guys got hurt. Deebo Samuel is obviously the one that is kind of taking the headlines, but he's got an oblique injury too. Brock Purdy does. So we're going to see how that has to transpire through the rest of the week.
And he did say that he could have finished out the game, but he came out in the 4th quarter because the game was plenty in hand. And you mentioned that game against Seattle. That's going to be a short week. That's a Thursday night kickoff. And if they get that, then they lock up the NFC West. Now, looking at that defense, you said we can talk all about it. Here's your chance.
Yeah, and it was impressive because it was a team effort. And we're talking to Eric after the game, Eric Armstead. And I had to ask him, he's been part of some really good defenses during his tenure here with the 49ers. He said, this is the team. This is the team defense that has been the most impressive, the most dominating he's been a part of. And they've been to Super Bowls because of that defense. They impress every single day, every single game throughout this season, and they keep doing it with different guys. I mean, you see Dre Greenlaw coming away with a pick. He manifested that from earlier in the week. Said, I'm going to pick off Tom Brady. People laughed at him. He's been such an MVP. He's starting to get all-pro consideration. I think he'll probably get it. And, you know, Fred Warner captains this defense along with Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa had a relatively quiet day, and it didn't really matter.
And you need your defense performing that well, especially when the Niners have had all the injuries that they've had on offense. As you mentioned earlier, Deebo Samuel, the latest one, they fear that it might be a high ankle sprain. That'll keep him out 5 to 7, 5 to 6 weeks. But the good news for them is that it is not an ankle break, which was what they were fearing when the injury first happened. Kirsten, let's send it back to you.